Okay, so sometime past midnight a few weeks ago, my good friend Wilson and I were having a bit of a go at being Socrates and Plato. We were having a serious and thinking and philosophical discussion, and we were talking about how it's really hard to change your life. By change your life, I don't necessarily mean anything drastic. I mean just small things, like adding or removing little habits in your daily routine. Doing 5 minutes of stretching before you sleep. That's a good habit. It's a minor thing, but if you are looking to incorporate that into your daily schedule, you may find yourself hard-pressed to put in that time and effort every day, even if it is very minimal. Just 5 minutes, and the stretching feels good, so you are incentivized to do it, and it is good for you. Actually, the benefits of stretching are up to debate, depending on which source you look to, but bear with me for the sake of the example. The point of the example is, changing your life in even the smallest of ways is not easy. This also aligns with our understanding of the difficulty we have in adhering to our New Year's resolutions. That time is coming soon, fellas. The New Year arrives in like 12 or 13 days, I don't really know and I don't want to do the math, but maybe keep this in mind for then. We all hear the classic tale of a fella whose New Year's resolution is to start working out. The fella's goal is to hit the gym at least 4 days a week from here on out. Pretend that COVID doesn't exist in this example, so it is totally safe for this person to hit the gym. Anyways, our fella is going to keep this up for a good while, going to the gym even 5 or 6 days a week until about mid-February when our fella has some sort of setback. Maybe our fella got sick with a cold or went through a rough breakup and suddenly the gym hitting has ceased. The attendances of the gym dwindle out to 2 or 3 days a week, then it becomes once a month, then by about August there is no more gym attendance at all. I will wager that many of you know of this phenomenon. Maybe you've heard a story like this, likely you've experienced something similar yourself. And my example does not even account for the simple loss of motivation over time. I have given our fella in this example a pretty decent reason, relatively speaking, to have stopped attending the gym. That setback I was talking about. Sometimes there doesn't even need to be a setback at all to make us stop sticking to our resolutions. Sometimes we just stop sticking to our resolutions for no apparent reason. It may have to do with that cycle of pride and productivity I was talking about a while back in this video. Because, long story short, when you do something good, you feel good, and that feeling good stops you from needing to do more good things to feel good. So you stop doing good things because you don't feel the need to. That makes sense in terms of sticking to your New Year's resolution. When you start out strong at the beginning of the new year, you feel so good about yourself that you no longer feel the need to stick to your resolution anymore. Okay, I was writing that and I realized you guys might hear that statement and think, wait, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Wouldn't you instead want to keep chasing that feel-good feeling that you get from sticking to your resolution? In which case, starting out strong with your resolution should foster more motivation to stick to your resolution. That line of thinking might be true enough, so I propose a second explanation for our suckage at being resolutionary. Maybe instead of looking at the cycle of unproductivity, we can look at the hedonic treadmill. This is another concept I talked about in a recent video, look here. If you didn't watch that video, here's just a short and sweet explanation again. The hedonic treadmill basically states that we get used to our life circumstances. The example I used in that video is that if we win the lottery, we won't be super happy for the rest of our lives just because we're rich. We'll get used to being rich, and our level of happiness will level out to be about roughly the same as it was before we won the lottery. Think about that in terms of feeling good because you're sticking to your New Year's resolution. You ride that feel-good high for the first few days or weeks, but eventually, you no longer feel that great about sticking to your resolution. It's ho-hum. Working out has become no big deal, so you stop doing it. I can totally attest to this sort of thing. I used to feel super good about myself every time I went for a run. I felt cool, an exercise superhero, an in-shape good fella. Now I've been on so many runs that I don't feel that same pride. Not at all. Completing a run nowadays is kind of like a minor satisfaction. At this point, my motivation to run comes from how bad I feel about myself when I don't run. So that's strange, and maybe that negative motivation, or more accurately, the motivation that arises from wanting to avoid experiencing a negative feeling, that could be a topic for another day. So actually, I think this period where you stop feeling good about yourself for doing this new good habit is the final part of the bridge you must cross before you fully ingrain something as a habit into your life. Because if you're able to consistently do something, such as working out, even when it stops bringing you a large amount of joy every time you do it, that is how you're able to develop the strong habit. So if you're ever trying to change your life, remember that when what you're doing to change your life reaches its most difficult point, or reaches that point where you have the least motivation to do it, push through. That may be the final test, the final door to open. the final bridge to cross before you enter the holy land of habit is developed. Now fellas, I have to say real quick that I know I've been talking about and around the same topics recently of how creating stuff is hard, whether that be issues with productivity, motivation, or how everything has already been created before every original idea has already been taken. Sorry if this is getting stale. It is just what interests me at the moment, and I find it's most enjoyable to make the videos on the topics that interest me currently. And I hope you fellas also find this discussion relevant for our quarantine times that have not been so sublime. There has been much discussion on the internet about how all this time we have to ourselves indoors could be used to better ourselves and learn new skills. Yet, so many of us have failed to do these things. We have just wasted our time indoors, on social media, and doing much of nothing. So given what I've talked about in this video, don't feel so bad about yourself if this has been the case for you. Because you know now, surely you must know. You must know, it is difficult to change your life. If you developed one good habit over the course of this quarantine, just one, no matter how minor, I am proud of you. And I love you. I love you all! Anyways, Valorant, a video game.
Finished. Enough. Three souls. 4 dead. Souls. Cool bridge. Three souls. 4 dead. Gun here.
Thank you.
I see someone. Here.
Thanks.
Let's go. That's it.
Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Enemy spotted. One down.
No way. Okay, nice go.
There. See nothing.
One enemy remaining.
Let's go.
There. See nothing.
Oh, that feels so good.
Spike planted.
First fake, like give it.
Fire in the hole!
What? How?
Spike planted. Fire in the hole!
One enemy remaining.
Nice shit,
Good job, Sage.
you're insane.
Oh my god.
Last player standing.
I have this right.
Sky is saying 105.
I've got your trail.
Sky was kitchen.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god. 105, 105.
Still in sight.
Yes, nice. You're so good.
This is fine.
On left side.
Did they kill you?
Thank you.
Right here.
Oh my god.
Last player standing.
I'm
One
moving, I'm
enemy
sorry.
remaining.
Hurry.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Oh my god.
standing. One enemy remaining.
Oh my god! You're just better!
One enemy remaining.
Holy shit.
How did that work? I hear a lot.
Enemy spotted.
Stealing sight.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
You're here.
I've got your trail.
Okay, you're just better. You're just better.
What the hell? Thank you.
You're here. You're here.
Win.
You want it?
Show me where to go.
You want it?